Tubers, Tubettes, and of course crazy people. Well, in just a minute I'm going to introduce you to my friend Mark, who, believe it or not, got scammed by the same guy that scammed me and baby May. And he's going to come here and give you his story, his background, how it worked on him, and we're actually going to out the guy for you. This is the video where everything gets revealed. Hang in there. All right, kids, so like I said in the introduction, I'm here with my buddy Mark Sansoni, and he too is, I hate to use the word victim, but I guess I think of us as volunteers because we could have done better.
I'll use the word idiot for me.
Idiot is working good. But you're one of about 35 other people that we know of collectively.
Not counting the workers.
Not counting the workers and the staff. And
exactly.
And the vendors that got burned.
Ooh, yeah,
brutal. Anyway, he's part of this little cluster. And so he is, along with a couple of other people that will be coming on in the future, has agreed to kind of tell his side of the story as to why he got involved with this dude. And what kind of due diligence or lack of, I'm not going to put words in his mouth, that Mark did. And are you comfortable with saying how much money you lost?
Sure,
okay.
I don't care.
All right, so we'll come along to that. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk here for a few minutes, and then we're going to get up and we're going to drive just down the street about 5 minutes from where we're located having lunch, which is where his property is. And we're going to give you a little tour of what he's got. Very similar to what I have, but same but different, okay? So, Mark, you signed up to build with this man 3 weeks prior to me.
Yes,
okay.
I did.
And so what was your process, or what was your, how did you vet him, or did you not vet him?
Well, to an extent.
Okay.
My vetting process is flawed, obviously. But I heard about the company, Orange Kite Group.
Orange Kite Group.
And I heard about them. I heard they do good work, And, okay, that's a start. So I figured I'll go talk to the guy. And when I went up and talked to him, he seemed very, I'll say that, he's very charismatic. He can talk, he's a very good salesperson. I'm sure if he was a car salesman, he'd be able to sell Lamborghinis, But anyway, he talked a very, very good game, and I felt very comfortable with him. My spidey senses didn't go off,
right.
like, some people.
And we know a couple of people that have been real quick to come up and tell us.
After the fact.
Yeah, after the fact. Well, I met that guy, and I would never have done business with him.
Yeah.
And okay, I can see that, and we were talking about that. I think maybe when they talked to him, he didn't have his front on, he let his guard down a little bit.
Right.
Because I had the same experience as you, Mark. When I met him, he was super cool, very charismatic, not pushy. His whole spiel with me, and then we'll get right back to you, but his whole spiel with me, for what it's worth, was I just want to help you and get it straightened out and get it legal. So, for example, I didn't have 4 copies of my contract. Well, his lawyer that he had in-house got on the horn with my lawyer, and within, 20 minutes, got it straightened out, got it sent over, where I was having no luck. So I was very impressed by that. And then she did, for free, his lawyer, this Orange Kite Group's lawyer, he got her, or she volunteered for free to put my name on some paperwork to wrap it around to protect my interest in the event something happened to May. Because it never occurred to me.
Right.
He goes, why are you doing this? I said, well, it's for her future. It's not for me, it's her house, etc., etc. He goes, well, what if she dies? And I said, I never thought of that, because I never did. There's 30 years between us. But it's an actual fact that might happen.
Yeah.
That's one of those things that you can't control. He says, so we're going to set it up so that, and they did, it's all legal. So they were doing me a solid for free, and then proceeded to take me in the car and show me different properties. Now, what was your experience like?
I would say a mirror image of what you went through.
Okay.
The same thing. I was impressed with the fact, like I told him that I already have a property that I bought. So, you're removing that part of the equation.
Right.
So, he asked me questions like, well, do you have a lease on it yet with your significant other? And I said, no, we haven't done that yet. I planned on doing that soon. And I know I've got another property, so I've gone through this before, and I know how pricey that can be. That can get expensive doing that paperwork through an attorney. And he said, oh, no, we'll do that. We'll do that free. We'll throw it in. And I was impressed with that,
Yes.
And all the paperwork looked like it was in order, and it looked straight, and I believe it's still good.
I had mine checked by another attorney, and he said it's copacetic.
Yeah.
I'm fully protected. May's on there right. The names are correct. The property, the survey was done properly. The whole enchilada. Right. So, what was his process with you? Did he take you around in his truck and show you projects?
He immediately, it seemed like he was, like very, very, I don't know what the word is here, but very quick to like say, okay, all my time belongs to you, and he just spent a lot of time with us and focused his attention on us and didn't, he wasn't really doing any other business at the office or whatever, those few days that we were there with him. And so he would take us around to the different properties that he was building. And I was looking at these properties and I was impressed. I was really impressed with the work that was done and, the price that he gave for, well, I'm doing it for this house for this much and this house for this much or whatever. And I thought, okay, this sounds fair to me. I was impressed with the work, and then, I won't say the person's name, but I actually met with a guy that he was building a house for. And the guy said, he's happy with the work that was being done. And, he said, you got to stay on him a little bit. And he's going to be a little slow. But if you stay on him, he'll get the job done for you. And he said he was fine. He was impressed with the price and, everything. And I thought, okay, that's good. And with all the properties that I'd seen, I thought, you know what? I'm not going to look anymore. This guy seems like the one, It seemed like it was going to be, a good situation for me, and I just want to get it going. I want to get started.
Okay.
And stuff,
So what about like drawings and blueprints and permits and all that? Where did you go with that?
He took me in the office, and they started right away, showing me previous floor plans that he had done and built. And he said, what do you think about these? And I said, well, that's a good starting point, but I want to adjust a bunch of things and do it my way. I want to design my own house. And so I went home and basically sketched out some things, and put some things down on paper that I know I wanted. And when I was done, it was only a couple days later, then I went back to the office and I sat down he had a guy at the time, we got on a computer program. Can't remember the name of the program, but it did 3D renderings and things like that, And he was able to basically put a sketch of the house up, like from all different angles, and he had the sizes on there. And it was exactly what I wanted because I designed it. So, I was the one that designed it, and we made some tweaks here and there, but there was that. But it's just a visual rendering, drawing, or whatever, not a blueprint, which is, I'd never seen a blueprint, and I still haven't to this day.
Have you ever seen a permit?
Permits are another thing too. No permits.
No permits.
He said he was going to take care of it. It never happened. And if, he's got some stories about why it didn't happen, and one of his employees was ripping him off and all this other stuff. Like, whatever, I don't care. He's the business owner, So there was not enough, or not any effort, I think, in permits.
So I want to kind of summarize this because you did a lot of what I did. I went and I chatted with him. Actually, he approached me, and he was saying, "Well, because you've got the YouTube channel, you can show your build, and that way I can give you a discount, and it will get me more business. So you and me can help each other on this thing."
Right.
And I said, "Well, that sounds equitable," because I really wasn't willing or ready to build yet.
Yeah.
And he goes, "It won't be much money up front." So I gave him, I'll get to that in just a second. So what him and I did was he said, he goes, "What do you want generally, and I told him generally what I wanted. And a couple of days later, he came up to my house, and he was beeping his horn. He goes, look, I made a drawing for you. And it was really close to what we had talked about. And he said, I even put a YouTube studio in over here. And I thought, wow. I said, but can you make this room bigger and that change? He goes, let's do this. Let's get in my car, or his truck at the time. Or he had a driver. That's what it was.
Yeah.
He had a driver and a car. And he said, let me take you to 4 or 5 properties that I've built or are building. And that's exactly what we did. We went to this guy, that guy, this guy, that guy. There's probably some noise over there. Sorry. Kids are
having fun.
Playing games or something. Anyway, so we went to this house, that house, this house, that house. And like Mark, I was duly impressed with the way things were going. The walls were really high, which we wanted. The pools that he was putting in were really kind of custom looking. He was doing all the little things like with the sliders and the Glasgow, he had dual rails down at the bottom, little things like that. And then he was talking about the appliances and how he gets all that delivered to his place, and then they take it to our place. We just have to go pick it out. But the real thing was, I talked to the guys that were currently his customers having their home built. And every one of them said what Mark said. They said he does a top-notch job, but you have to kick him in the ass every now and then to keep him going because he's fairly busy. He's taking on a lot of work. And so there was one of the key elements that I think helped stall us out later in the game, right?
Yeah.
So, all right, so how much money did you give him?
Well, I gave him a down payment because I'm building, well, not with him anymore, but I'm building quite a bit, quite a large house. And so I gave him about $3 million. And that's a considerable amount of money.
Yep.
You know. And I'll probably never see that again.
Nope.
I'll still have a lawyer fight for it, but
there's another question.
Good luck.
There's a number of people that have lawyered up, and a number of people have gathered and using one attorney.
Yeah.
So to get 5, 6, 7 cases all at once going against this guy.
Class action.
Action type of deal. Are you going to be a part of that, or are you just going to sit back and watch?
I'd have to figure out who's in it and how to get a hold of these people. I could do that, or I could do it separately. But you know, the thing is, the thing that I look at is, you know, if a person is this good at taking people for a ride, he's probably hid any money that he's got. He's buried in something that is unseeable, untouchable.
Yep.
You know, like let's say Bitcoin or whatever. You know, like the court can order someone to pay money, but if you don't have it, you know, getting blood from a stone, you know.
Well, there is
may never see it.
that got a judgment.
Yeah, what?
For $1.1 million.
Right, I've seen it.
I've seen the document. He's seen the document. We've both met the guy and talked to him. He's seen Bupkis.
Right.
And we also collectively went down to the NBI, and they were underfunded. So they said, well, we need 100,000 pesos to fund this, to get it going. And I said, fine. But everybody's got to kick in 5 or 10,000 pesos.
Right.
And so far that kind of fell apart because there was no leader on it. They've been to the mayor. The mayor says, you know, I really can't get involved. It's just not that kind of a case or whatever. I don't know. I wasn't there for it.
Right.
But there's a very famous couple named Dudkowski that are Polish. He's Polish. She's Filipina.
Yeah.
I'll put a link to some of their videos in there. I'm also going to put a link to the Builder's YouTube channel and let you take a look at some of his stuff. This is kind of exposing who he is without saying his name out loud.
Yeah, right.
Which sort of protects me a little bit with this cyber crap. Because it cost him nothing to go to the prosecutor and sue me.
Right.
But it's going to cost me 100 to 200,000 pesos to hire someone to defend me. And why would I do that? And that's why I'm not joining in the lawsuits, because I feel like I'm just throwing good money after bad. Because this dude got a settlement already for $1 million pesos, and he's just not going to pay him. And it's in this guy's MO There's actually a gentleman that I'm talking to. I'm getting kind of scattered on this, but there's another gentleman that I'm talking to that's been following him since he lived in South Africa and was running scams in South Africa. He ran a scam in Poland, and now he's out here running a scam. And this dude is giving me all this information and telling me all of his aliases. So I don't know what he did in South America. That's where he's born and from. And then he went to Poland and set up some sort of phony school, you know, become a nurse, become a dentist, send me this much money, whatever it was that he did. And then he came out here and started the construction thing. And when we went out and looked, I won't speak for Mark, 5 or 6 different projects.
Yeah.
And I won't name them because I don't want to embarrass them because they are totally innocent.
Right.
They were totally a sweet couple, but they were videotaping him vlogging. They were vlogging him building their house every day. They would take a break for a week, go to Sikihor, chill out, and come back. And so they were adding credibility by every time they mentioned his name, and they mentioned the Orange Kite Group, his company, and we were watching the progress, and we went up and met them. And said, I don't know if you did. Did you ever meet him?
I met him.
Okay.
Yeah, great couple too.
I went up and met him, and I said, how do you like this guy? He's fine. They said, in fact, we had this big rush to get our tile done, and because we were having a house blessing or a party or something, and they said we needed to get the tile done. And he pulled like 50 workers off of the job, brought them over, and knocked out the tile. And ticked off the guy that he pulled the workers from. Wow. But when I also went out to go look at him where the Dudkowskis are with this big compound thing, there were over 100 people out there scurrying around. One was wearing a black shirt that designated him as a plumber. Another guy was wearing a yellow shirt that designated him as an electrician. Another guy was wearing a red shirt that was the foreman of the electrician. The other one was a foreman of the plumbers. And then there was a head foreman. And so there were people, they were busted a move. And then the white shirt guys were the manual labor, you know, mixing the concrete and all that kind of stuff. Did you see all that action?
It never got that far with mine. I had the handful of workers there digging trenches by shovel, by hand, you know, whereas a backhoe, you can get the whole thing done in a day. He's there digging on my property, and I believe yours too. Months, and still didn't get it all done.
Yeah, what we did with, what I was referring to was that Dudkowski area. Did you ever go out to see that?
Okay.
With all the guys running around?
I was there once before while it was still legitimately, while they were working, and saw all the people, and I thought, wow, this is why there's no one on my property. They're all out here, you know?
Yeah. So it looked legit, didn't it? It looked like he's got the crews. He's just too busy.
It was just, it looked legit. It upset me because I thought, like, okay, this guy's a big vlogger, so he's getting all the attention because it's going to bring, recognition to the construction company, and he'll get more business, you know. And I'm like, well, I'm only a guy with money, you know. Like, that's all I am. Like, I don't have a YouTube channel, so no one's going to listen to me, you know. So
that was part of his sucking me in.
Yeah, I got put way down the list. Yeah.
So what also happened was we started getting a little hinky after we gave him money. I gave him 1 million pesos for the record. He gave him 3 million and change, I think, for the record. His house is bigger than mine, or May's, whatever you want to call it. So there was a bobcat out at my place.
Actually, I have a house right now, and you don't.
That's true.
We'll see that.
We're going to show you his house, because my house got stolen.
Yes, it did.
And he's the guy that told me. He goes, and I hate to tell you, I know you're having a rough couple of months with May's mom dying and you getting sick with the surgeries and all this stuff, but I got to tell you, buddy, your bunkhouse is missing. That was him. And so, anyway, that being said, we're going to go down and take a look at his property. What else did we miss? Oh, what I found out was that he would bring a bulldozer and pull it over to my house and work for 2 or 3 days, dig up some stumps, Everybody was scurrying around, and then all of a sudden there was a bunkhouse erected. So it was like, oh, okay, we're moving forward. And then he put the bulldozer or the bobcat over on your property.
Right,
that was dinking around. And the same thing, built a bunkhouse.
I would yell at him because it's over at your property, and he's not doing any work on mine.
Right.
So I'd yell at him like, hey, why is there no backhoe over my property? Why aren't they working? So he'd pull it off yours, put it on mine. And then you'd go and complain. He'd pull it off mine and put it on yours. You know, or wherever. It's, you know, whoever out there, it's the squeaky wheel got attention in every case. You know, if you were not squeaking, you got zero done, and I didn't squeak enough.
And you know what? He would constantly, not constantly, but he would frequently contact me and you and others and say, hey, we're doing this, we're doing that.
And they didn't.
Or people would bitch and moan about it not happening, and he would always have a real quick comeback. And then he would, I think he told you, I'm going to give you free appliances. Didn't he say that?
Oh, yeah. He was sucking up, like making amends. Like, I know it's been taking a long time, and I'm going to make it up to you, and I'm going to, like, all your kitchen appliances are going to be free. I'm like, I didn't say anything, but I thought, like, they were free anyway from the way he was talking before. But, you know, whatever. He had a way of just telling you what you want to hear and kind of like shining you on and everything. And it just seems like it went in with the, you know, he got enough people. Initially, like the people that we went and looked at their properties, and those people were happy. Well, they were in on the ground floor, just got started.
Like a pyramid scheme.
And he was just, you know, trying to make them happy so word of mouth would get out that, oh, it's a great company. And then by the time we got involved in this stuff, it had blown up, and, you know, like we were still in on the ground floor, but it blew up right after we got in. And it got to be so large that I believe he just got enticed with the money, just ran with it, didn't do any work, because we're going to show you how much he did for my 3 million pesos. You know, and
we're going to do that in just a minute. And so just to kind of give you a synopsis of what we were talking about, just kind of wrap around, is both of us went out, looked at the work that he was doing. We were impressed with the work. We felt the pricing was fair. We both felt like we were getting a good deal because he's just good at making you feel that way. No matter what way he uses to say or what words he chooses. And then we were talking directly to people that were using him. There's no better referral than a guy that's using them. It's like, hey, who do you use for a dentist? You know, I always feel better if I ask him, you like your dentist? Yeah, I got a great dentist. Then I want to go to that guy. Hey, do you have a good builder? Yeah, I got a great builder. You got to use this guy. Look, he did this house, this house, this house, this house, and that's what he did. He built like 5 or 6 models and got those up and running. And the interesting thing is that he had a meeting of what, a couple months ago now? Yeah,
which is R-rated for...
by me.
Can't show any video on there of Paul losing his mind.
Losing my cookies. And he brought us all together. Mark was there. I recorded it. This will all come out a little later, probably.
I've got the video, or the...
You've got the video?
No, not video. I'm sorry. I've got audio on it.
I've got the audio.
I've got the whole audio.
Every word that he said. In a nutshell, he assured all of us. In the beginning, he said, I know that my personal life of using drugs and alcohol has been a concern to you, and I'm working on changing that. And so he was very contrite. And then he said, and you're worried that the workers aren't getting paid. Well, by Thursday, I think he was talking to us on a Monday or something like that.
Yeah, it was Monday.
Monday. He said by Wednesday or Thursday, they will all be paid. I've sold some Bitcoin, I've sold some land, I've done all this and I've done all that. They will be paid.
They'll be back to work.
By Thursday or Friday, all of your properties. He talked to this whole room. There's 20 people, 25 people?
In the room, there was plenty more.
And we'll have a full crew on everybody's house and place and permits. Oh, no one had a permit. So he says, I'm dedicating one person, which was a lawyer, to just take over because the other person had embezzled from me. This was his story. And the person never embezzled from him at all. But this person, this lawyer, is going to take over the permits. They're all going to be smooth. And May and I and her sister, ever since that meeting, we've been fighting to get a permit, and they won't even let him in the building down there. He came in to get a permit and didn't know how to fill it out. So he was trying to sell somebody else that hadn't heard about all the scuttlebutt. So I guess that's enough for the discussion. That's sort of the story about us doing what we consider to be due diligence and how we kind of got catfished by this guy. I still take full responsibility.
Yeah, sure.
One thing I did do that Mark didn't do was I talked to a couple of other people that were using other contractors, and they were unhappy with their contractors. One contractor had gotten so far like 70%. Then he told the guy he needed more money, which the guy didn't have, and it wasn't agreed upon, and the contractor just walked off the job. Another guy that got a real good quality build, his house is built, it's beautiful, but he found out that he paid about 15 or 20% more than he should have because the guy was just, that was his little deal.
Yeah.
At least he got a house out of it, but he
Sure.
just paid retail plus 10 or 20%.
Yeah.
So those are those tales of the woe. So we're going to cut it here. We're at 25 minutes already, and then we'll go and we'll spend 5 minutes, and we'll just kind of show you his property and what he's got. Okay? Thanks for hanging in there. We'll be right back. All righty, Mark. So we're here at the proverbial property, and I'm going to come off of you for a minute. And you've got about 2,000 square meters buildable here.
Yes, sir.
Right? And we're kind of down in a hollow here,
Yeah.
a shallow point. And up there goes the property. And then I want to pan down over here. And then I think if we get right about to that tree line,
Yeah.
that is your spot.
That is.
And that pile of stuff over there is some of the work that he did. Is that correct?
Yeah, if you use the air quotes. Yeah.
And so, well, it's a lot has grown here. It was a lot different before.
Yeah.
So let me get back down here and come back to you.
Okay.
Now, so we've also got this stack of rocks, and
Right.
that's what he bumped around with Bobcat?
The backhoe, he was, yeah.
Okay. And then there's this. The good news is it's directly off a concrete road, which adds so much to the whole thing. And there, kids,
This is my chateau.
is what you can get for 3 million pesos.
All this can be yours.
The infamous bunkhouse. The good news is yours is still here. The
Yeah.
employee stole mine. So, and I don't blame him. In fact, you're the one that told me. By the way, Paulie, your bunkhouse is missing. So here we go. This is really a nice piece of land. Again, it's right off of the highway, or the road rather. He's got about $20 worth of hollow block that got delivered.
Literally,
And,
yeah.
literally. And as you can see, everything has grown up like crazy since the last time we were here. And so there's the ladies over there. And then one more quick shot of the bunkhouse. And you're going to proceed from this point forward. You're going to start interviewing some other contractors.
Yes, see, went with doing the same thing as you're doing. I'm going to get the permits by myself. And also, now I've done my own blueprints. We had an engineer do blueprints, so now that I have them in my hand, it's time to go and get contractors. I'm going to interview a bunch of contractors and see which one seems to fit and get started as soon as possible.
Well, let me ask you this, because I get this a lot. Are you one of those guys that can come up here every day and supervise the supervisors?
Oh my God, no.
Me either.
I don't want the stress in my life. I'm
Right.
retired.
Right.
You know, I want to throw money at it, and hopefully no contractors are listening to me say this. They're going to overcharge me, but I want look, that's their job. I'm paying them to deal with the headaches and the stress, you know, and if I come up here and people are on break every time I come, like, it would drive me crazy. So
Right.
I'll poke my head in here and there, you know, probably daily or every other day, but it's going to be 10 minutes. You know?
Sure. Because we got lives to lead.
Yeah.
And we're retired.
Yeah. I know
And,
some people,
you know,
they say, well, you have to be there all day, every day. You know, I'm not going to do that for the next year of my life.
I hear you.
Sit out here in a kubo and,
Right.
you know, can't do it.
Right. Well, you know, some guys, that's their nature. You know, they like it.
Yeah.
And more power to them. I think they really have the right idea. But I'm like you.
They do.
I just got, you know, other things to do, like hang out with her. And you've got other things to do, like hang out with her.
And take naps.
Huh?
And take naps.
And take naps. We are retired. All right, kid. Well, you know what? We're going to stay on top of this.
Right.
We're going to put some links in here, boys and girls, to the contractor's very own YouTube channel and to the Dudkowski family and to another gentleman that's done some exposés on his building experience. That's Bobby, right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. So we'll put Bobby's link in here. And that should give you guys a pretty good idea as to who we're talking about, who we're dealing with, and what the dealio is. All right, kids. We'll see you in the next video. See you later, Pedro.
Oh, hey. Bye, everybody.